Today's topic, I'd like to talk about maintaining your core values despite some pressures that you may be having in life or a job or whatever situation is. Now, to really maintain the core values, you as a leader in as far as entrepreneurship, you must consistently align financial decisions with those of your value. Now, some people, what they do is they have mission statements or they have personal credos, things like that, that kind of guide their life or business life to kind of get things going. What I do, one of the things I learned a million years ago in college is the four virtues. Four virtues, and I'm not meaning to go off on a religious extension here, but they're called the four cardinal virtues. There's prudence, justice, temperance, and fortitude. Now, prudence, the first one, is the ability to make a sound judgment and decision. It involves understanding world logic and calmly and often associated with wisdom and good judgment. Justice, acting fairly, not too much, not too little, just kind of the right amount, and treating others with dignity. Fortitude, the ability to face challenges. Are they owed whatever decision you're giving them? And then, of course, temperance, the practice of self-restraint and moderation. Not too much, not too little, just kind of the right amount. And whenever I'm faced with a hard decision, I always kind of go through these guidelines to say, okay, is it prudent? Are they owed justice? Is it fortitude? Is it temperance? Things like that. And if any one of those things fails and one of those things comes back no, well then the answer to the ultimate question, the hard decision that you're going through, the answer is no. And we can't do that, or unfortunately we can't, whatever. But kind of keep that in mind whenever making your decision. But even as a leader of an organization, or your one-man show up to a $1 trillion company, is you want to make your values explicit. So for example, you may want to, when seeing an employee or seeing a customer or vendor or whatever situation you're in, repeat them constantly. Hey, we're an honest company. Hey, we have good values. Hey, we make good decisions, and kind of reinforce that. Next, you want to lead by example. So it's not only one thing to say it or to put it on a mission statement, but you also want to live those virtues. So you want to have values. You want to be honest. You want to have integrity, so that lead by example. So that's a good one. But also integrate those values into any financial strategies. So what this means is you want to align your financial goals with the organizational values. So a good example is that if innovation is a core value, you want to allocate funds to research and development, right? Even during, the good times, but also during the bad times. Next, you want to prioritize long-term culture. I know I've mentioned this before, but, sometimes people will throw out the long-term culture and just focus on short-term. Very, very rarely does short-term work out. We're all in business for the long term. So you want to, even if you need to say, I'm sorry, I can't help you out, to a customer or a vendor that wants you to cheat the system, don't. Be honest, have integrity. You never need to look behind your back and, see who's watching you or whatever. Lastly, you want to remain calm under pressure. This is important. So this is kind of getting back, and I'm sure we've all heard the expression, integrity is not when people are looking. Integrity is when people are not looking. And there's going to be situations, there's going to be financial situations that put a lot of pressure on you. Hey, you need to meet payroll. Hey, you need to bring money in the door, things like that. You want to stay calm. And if you have a good value system, if you have that prudence, justice, temperance, and fortitude, the cardinal virtues, is that you don't need to worry about making a decision because your guidelines, you already have guidelines in place. So when things do go haywire, hey, I have this whole thing in place. I'm not making a last minute decision. I'm not making a wrong decision. That decision you make, whether it be you have time to think about it or you're under pressure, it's still going to be exactly the same because you have a set of guidelines to guide you through it. But hopefully this helps out in maintaining your core values, because it's easy to do when we have time and we're very leisurely, but there's always exceptions and rules and pressures and situations, one-off situations, et cetera, that make things difficult for us. So if you had guidelines in place, the prudence, justice, temperance, and fortitude, I'm going to tell you that a million times. You know if you're making a good decision, and leading by example, things like that, kind of help you out in the process. But just a little bit about me, myself and my partner, we have a bookkeeping business, 15 years of experience, www.metroacc.com, Metro Bookkeeping Solutions. We're in the Texas area, but we've seen all kinds of businesses from small to medium size. So we're fairly well-rounded in terms of anything and everything out there. But if you like us, you love us, you want more of us, check us out, click like and subscribe. Until next time, and stay awesome.